Hi guys, welcome to Monitoring and Evaluation Made Simple. I'm your host, Coach Alexander. I'm very glad that you've joined me today. We're going to be looking at an introduction to the Monitoring and Evaluation Plan for beginners. I've been talking about the M&E Plan for many years now, but I don't know, people keep asking me about the M&E Plan. And until recently, I received a request from a number of people requesting that I do a series on the monitoring and evaluation plan. So I'm so happy to do it because it's one of the topics I hold dear. If you're here for the very first time, let me tell you a bit about myself. I'm Coach Alexander. I've been in this field for 10 years now, and I'm enjoying every bit about it because each and every day I learn new things, I interact with new people, and that's what keeps me going. In case you didn't know this, but recently there is this M&D software which I've been talking about. It's called the KPI lens. I like it. Okay, so please, if you have time, you want to learn more about it, you can either write to me or go to the link in the description below to go to their website because this is a good M&D software. As you can see, the number is there. They have a WhatsApp line. Please get to know them and they're going to help you throughout the way in helping you build your M&D system. Another thing is my free ebooks. Please download these free ebooks. They're totally free. And the course I'm running on Udemy, how to develop an M&D system. It's a very good course. It is very affordable. Okay, it's not like the coaching program, but this one is far much cheap and you learn a few things within a short period of time. But I would urge you to enroll in the coaching program, which will obviously be open in somewhere July. So as usual, this is a long video. Please feel free to use the timestamps in the description below. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. Okay, so before I go any further, I want us to talk about planning. So planning is such an important thing in our lives because whatever we do, wherever we are constantly planning of what we want to do. So, in a nutshell, I like to define planning in terms of three important components. It's a process of setting our goals, okay? So, when you are sitting down, you always have goals that you want to achieve in life. So, goals are usually those long term, but you may also have short term or short to medium term goals. You may have those, but it's all about you sitting down to plan or set those goals. Then the next thing about planning is about you sitting down to work out a strategy of how you achieve those goals. And lastly, what resources will you need to achieve those goals? Okay, so there are those three important aspects of any plan that you do. It's first setting your goals, working out a strategy, and determining the resources that you need to achieve those goals. So what we do in life, it's very amazing because a lot of times in our everyday languages, everyday language will always be, if things don't work well in our life, we're going to condemn ourselves or condemn somebody else and tell them that it's simply because you failed to plan. That's what we usually do. We'll condemn ourselves, and it could be true. Maybe we didn't really sit down to calculate things very well. So in our lives, we plan for a number of things. We plan for retirement. We plan for our education, our vacation, even our marriage. We do plan for that. Even our businesses. So there are so many things that we plan for, and the list is endless. Okay. So whatever it is we're doing, it is really good to know that we spend most of the time setting these goals. And the interesting part is that very few times do we have, very few times we don't do things without planning. Okay, so it's quite beautiful that this is something you and me can connect with very well. So now let's talk about the project cycle. I hope I'm not boring you, but there are things you need to know before we jump into the M&E plan. So the projects that are implemented around the world start with a cycle. Okay, every project has a cycle. And as you can see in that image, the first stage is the initiating stage. Okay, then you go to the actual planning. All right, and during that stage of the planning, that's where now you have stakeholders sitting together to have a project developed. Okay, then you have the execution, then you have the monitoring, and then the closing of the project, and then the process is restarted. But let me tell you the truth. The planning of the project, as you can see, it starts way before even the what you see there. But when it comes to the monitoring and evaluation, it actually starts right at the planning stage. Okay, why do I say so? Because if you look at the project documents that are developed, in most cases, those indicators are supposed to have M&E personnel helping out develop those indicators, the key performance indicators. And actually, when those projects are being developed, in the work plans, they are actually stating that in this quarter or in the first or second quarter, we're going to do the monitoring. In the first or second quarter, or after 2 years, we're going to do a midterm evaluation. After 5 years, we'll do the end of project evaluation. All that is part of the planning. Now, I guess you know where I'm getting to, because evaluation is part of M&E, monitoring is part of M&E. So at this stage of the planning, that's where you find even the M&E plan has to be developed. Okay, so now let's answer this question. What is the M&E plan? All right, what is it? So the M&E plan, okay, so maybe I have to say it this way. I'm not even going to read what I typed, because it's pretty obvious what it is. It's really you determining what you want to achieve in the M&E, and how you are going to achieve it, and what resources you need to achieve your M&E activity goals. So monitoring and evaluation is not, I want you to underline this for those who are watching this and paying attention to me. It's not an academic exercise. You need to really look at it as something close to you, more than what you read and write in a test and try to get high marks. It's really something very important. And we have to, in order to have higher chances of success, you need to have these M&E plans developed, because it's going to help you do a very good job when it comes to monitoring and evaluating of your project. And then when you're doing so well with M&E, the performance of your projects will also be very good, such that when your project comes to a close, the next time you implement a similar project, you do it far much better than its predecessor. So in this 5-part series, okay, I'm going to be posting. I'm not sure how I'll do the sequence of the posting, but I'm thinking maybe I can be posting every 2 days certain things about the M&E plan, and this is what we're going to learn. Why is the M&E plan important? Okay, I've talked about it, I've touched a bit about it, but I want to explain it in such a way that I want to reach the hearts of even the project managers who are out there, the CEOs. I want them to understand why this is important. Another thing is, how is the M&E plan developed? Um, the M&E plan, if you go on the internet right now, you'll find some plans that have been done. But one thing I need to tell you is that every organization should have their unique way of developing these things because the context differs. So I want to run you through the process of how this is done. Then another issue is, what is the difference between an M&E plan and an M&E framework? So this is something we need to discuss because sometimes this is considered interchangeably, but they are different. Then how to implement the M&E plan? Very important. And why is this important? Because sometimes as organizations we are very good at developing policies, guidelines, but when it comes to the implementation, we fail tremendously. So I hope you're going to be joining me as I post this series. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me, and until we meet again, I've been your host, Coach Alexander, and see you on the other side. Bye.